on, guys? DIY Dale back in the studio. I'm here with Rick Monaco. We're going to talk about men's health today. He is an owner of, what is it, Vitality Lounge?
Vitality Lounge, yep.
And this guy has an awesome background. We met years ago, actually through a good friend, Angelo.
Yep.
And this is, gosh, it's been 15, 20 years almost, because I'm 35. So, yeah, when I was about 21, 22, we were at the clubs in Cleveland.
Yep.
And it's crazy how life comes full circle. He's doing health. I'm doing construction, but I'm starting this podcast. So let's get into it. His background really is he's a registered nurse at first, and then you got your master's?
Yeah, so I have a registered nurse, so RN BSN initially at University of Akron. That's kind of where we met. And then after that, got my master's of nursing in healthcare management. And then after that, got my doctorate in healthcare management as well.
Oh, I didn't even know you had the healthcare management thing.
Yeah, so that's what I always wanted to do.
Like managing a hospital or
Yeah,
like a team?
Yeah, so I initially wanted to go back for nurse anesthesia, but then I found that I had a knack for managing people and organizations. So a brief history on myself, got my bachelor's, started on my master's,
Okay.
was the youngest nursing supervisor Akron General had ever hired.
Oh, wow.
So I was in control of a 400-bed hospital on the night shift. And after that, I kind of got my feet wet. I was 24 years old, transitioned, got my master's, and then became a manager in nursing of a cardiovascular step-down unit.
Okay.
Went overseas for a little bit and did some managing over there. Came back, was a manager of an ER, and then opened up Vitality Lounge after that. So the kind of a brief synopsis of who I am and how I started down my path.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring Rick on because with the podcast really heavily focused in entrepreneurship, me being a new dad coming here in March, and I think it all ties together with health, fitness, longevity, I would say. I'm very transparent. We've talked about it off camera a little bit, is I've ran testosterone off and on for years. And I think it's good for men. And I want to educate you guys that are listening. How do you get it? How do you get tested? Kind of, let's go down that route. I know you have a past that you wanted to talk about of addiction a little bit, which can really help out a lot of guys that are struggling, may have struggled. How do you process that? So by the end of this, guys, hopefully you get educated. If you have any questions, please write in our comments. I think you'll be able to answer anything we have thrown at us.
Yep.
And I'll definitely reach out because I want to keep people connected. Go see him. And so, yeah, I guess I'd like to start at the ground level just to kind of educate some people on where you're from in terms of because you are super successful now, man, and it's awesome to see, but we all didn't come from that, myself included. So what kind of family were you brought up in? Do you have brothers, sisters? And it's okay. Did you have money or not? What kind of created that direction and that drive? Dude, this is kind of what I want to do. And I locked in, et cetera.
Sure. Yeah. Come from Sagamore Hills in a small town in Ohio here. And yeah, I had two wonderful parents. My dad worked two jobs all my life. My mother worked a job while raising two kids as well. So they were very hardworking people. I do have a younger sister. She's 2 years younger than me.
Oh, okay.
And kind of how my life took this path is my dad has always been super hardworking. So is my mother. And I was kind of almost raised by my grandmother.
Okay.
Because the school bus would drop me off after school at my grandmother's house while my parents were at work. So raised by my grandmother. She lived next door to my uncle and aunt. So I had a very close family. They all lived on the same street. We all had huge family parties together. But problems started when I was young. I had always problems with OCD and ADHD, which I didn't. They wanted to put me on Ritalin and all this stuff. I hated taking them.
Yeah.
So I always had I was always very rambunctious, but also pretty driven. I could get very focused on something very quickly from a young age.
Sure.
So, kind of fast forward, I went through my childhood years.
I want to, sorry to cut you off. I want to say something because there's so many people, this is about fatherhood too. And I'm having a daughter and there's a bunch of guys that have young boys. Dude, I was very similar, hyperactive, full of energy. I like to tear shit apart and put it together like you, right? We have that mechanical mind. And I think men just are ingrained to have that, this kind of natural, state. And so all this over medication nowadays, it's you need to sit in a classroom for the next 6 to 8 hours and not move. if you're a father out there, if you're somebody that has a kid, I think just seeing two guys that were hyperactive when we were younger, and we still are, but at the same time, we weren't medicated. You got to let them burn that energy up. Put them in some sports, right? I mean, you were probably an athlete.
Hmm.
Um, I wanted to stop there because it's so important, that little thing, that there's going to be guys watching that are like, dude, my kid's the same way.
Yeah, and I think that's huge to let people know because young kids, especially little boys, were never meant, like you said, to sit in a classroom for 8 hours a day. A lot of what were they did put me on Ritalin for a little while, based off of a doctor's decision, but then it made me feel so flat effect,
Yeah,
like completely out of it. I told
like
my mother
soulless.
this, soulless. So,
Yeah.
and then I had no drive, and my mother actually said it was okay for me to stop it, even though I was a young kid. They were giving it to me. I was going to the school nurse. They were
Yep.
giving it to me midday, trying to calm me down, but I didn't need that. That hyperactivity in a lot of men is what drives them,
Sure.
and to stay motivated and all those things. So I'm not sure if I necessarily always agree with how I don't have any kids, but if I were to say, do I agree with sending your kids off to an organization to learn all day from somebody you really don't know, while
Sure.
the mother and father are hard at work, trusting these people to make the right decisions for their kids, and the teachers are saying, or whoever is saying, this kid is way too hyperactive. Well, whose decision is that? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's and I get it, because you do need to educate your children.
Sure.
So what environment are you placing them? I was lucky enough to go to a Catholic um, grade school
Okay.
and a Catholic high school.
What
So I
school?
went to St. Barnabas and Trinity.
Oh, okay. You
So,
went to Trinity?
yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I was in a very good environment, you know what I mean? So, but I think that I wasn't fitting in that round peg into the square hole, type of deal.
Yeah.
Um, and and that's okay, and I figured myself out later in life,
Yep. Yep.
so the hyperactivity, all these medications that we're putting people on, kind of what we're going to get into, why I started my business,
Sure.
why I don't believe in, a lot of the Western medicine anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can kind of get into that as well. But yeah, my background, very hyperactive kid. So they put me to work early,
Yeah. Which
very
is,
early, which is, I think, essential for a young man.
yeah,
I started off by
100%.
cutting grass, and then I was immediately thrown into a roofing company.
Oh, no
At
shit, huh?
age 13, I was a roofing company. They called me the groundhog. I wasn't allowed to
The
go up on
real
the
fucking
roof.
deal, man.
Yep. And I worked at a roofing company from the time I was 13 until I was 21. So helping put myself through school.
Yeah.
My parents did a lot for me, but we grew up pretty poor.
Wow. Yeah.
Um,
No, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear, like, the blue collar background too, because there's so many guys that don't know, like, where we came from
right.
and like how we got here. And so many people skip that step and are like afraid to talk about that. Um, Little joke about roofing. Rick's tan is actually from when he was doing roofs when he was 13.
It's just stuck.
It just stuck forever.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
all right. All right. So we're past that now. Tell me, you have a sister. Is your family wasn't in healthcare at all?
No, no. I'm the first doctor in my family,
Okay.
so I've gone the furthest with my education out of my entire family.
That's
So
awesome.
because I have my doctorate, and that's what I always strove towards. Uh, Bringing that back to the roofing,
Yeah.
like, my parents put me in this environment, and they didn't know.
Yeah.
They're like, let's get him out there, let's get him roofing and all those things, but kind of shaped my entire existence. Hanging around with my dad's buddies who are all bikers,
Yeah.
hanging around with all the hard asses
Yeah.
from the roofing crew, it kinda shaped me in a good way, and
Yeah.
turning me into a man, but it also turned me into something that I thought was a normal thing,
Hmm.
which is drinking every day after work,
Sure.
smoking pot, all those things that all these hardcore people who are just in the grind every day do.
Yeah.
And seeing that as a 13-year-old kid and normalizing that is
Sure.
kind of what, so it made me super hard as an individual, which I take that in stride,
Yeah.
but it also showed me a way of life that isn't the best for you, isn't the healthiest,
Yeah.
and that's when all that started with, like, addiction. Is very young, 13, 14 years old,
Sure.
and I didn't realize that wasn't necessarily normal, you know? I it made me question myself. It made me question what was normal, because something like alcohol, you put it in your body and you just feel normal, especially when you're hyperactive,
Yeah.
calms you down a little bit.
Sure.
And for me, it was more like jet fuel sometimes. It kind
Yeah.
of really excited me, got my brain going, all those things, and it worked until it didn't.
Right.
So working at the roofing company really shaped me because I didn't get that, like, it was just like, we're going to work.
Yep.
This is what you need to do all day.
Yep.
You're going to sit in the middle
Yep.
of the truck, in this 3-man truck. You're sitting in the middle because you're the smallest guy. You're going to carry ladders and bundles and do all this shit all day. You're going to get ridiculed by guys that are bigger than
Yep.
you,
Yep.
and you are going to
Dude,
take
it
it.
builds fucking character.
It
I
does.
don't care what anybody says. I, it was another podcast out there that's super popular, and they were like, you should have to work a blue collar job for like a week or a month to understand, because every road, every house is built by some fucking dude, some girls that are grinding their dick into the dirt every day. Majority don't take care of themselves, which is sad, but they're providing for their families. And so it's just the appreciation, because you've been there for that, is awesome, especially with me. Like, I went the corporate route, which you guys will hear sooner or later, but I did medical sales, pharmaceuticals. And it's like I went backwards in terms of now I do trades, but that's just because my passion was always building stuff. And so, no, kudos to that. All right, can you tell me about just really how you started Vitality?
Sure.
Essentially, do you have partners?
Yep.
Kind of what's the direction you're headed? Who's your main focus? Things like that.
Yeah, sure. So like how I started in Vitality is, this was a company that they tried to start during COVID,
Okay.
right? And it failed because, COVID, everything shut down. They just didn't have they literally tried to start during that time and everything shut down. So after COVID, it was kind of like a floundering company, and the owner,
Mhm.
who lives in Maryland,
Okay.
he's friends with my uncle, and he's like, I need somebody to run this place. I need somebody to refurbish this place. I need somebody to do this. So he gets a hold of me through my uncle, and he's like, hey, what do you think about this? And this is what we're starting, and this is where I don't really know where we're taking it, but this is where we're starting.
Yeah.
So it's on over on West 25th on Superior Viaduct, and it's
What's the address?
2220 Superior Viaduct, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
So it's a big open space. It used to be a dance studio, right? And they're trying to turn this into a wellness clinic.
Sure.
So
in the construction space, they call that like white box.
Yeah,
It's just blank,
blank box,
which gives you creative freedom.
right.
Yeah.
So what I did is I hired a blueprint architect.
Sure.
And he took a look at the space for me very quickly, and then I did all the construction myself with my father and my uncle Jim.
Okay.
Every single 2x4 was carried in by me, so 250 2x4s, 50 sheets of drywall, all the drop ceiling, all the electrical, everything. I did it all in a 3-month period. I was given a very short period of time to get it done,
Okay.
and I got it done so I was working 60 hours a week. I was working at the hospital as a nurse.
And I was watching this online, guys.
Yeah,
You
I
were
was
posting a
all
bunch
the
of stuff,
Yep.
which is really cool coming from the construction side. It's like he's fucking in it from ground zero to building it out to sweat equity to now on the medicine side. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I finished out the entire build in 3 months, and it was good because we didn't have much clientele at the time. And the clientele that I did have, we were able to see virtually, stuff like that. So I'm building this thing out, and I finished in 3 months, and my deadline was January 1 to open of 2025.
Okay.
So we've been open since January 1 of 2025. All of the construction is done. I was able to get it done for a very minimal cost because I did it all myself.
Sure.
And that's how I got my stake in the company.
Smart.
I put
So you didn't have to put up any capital.
zero capital.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
And that's sometimes what people don't think about when you're starting a company is there are people out there that want to start companies. I've been approached by multiple people now who have seen this journey that I've taken. They're like, hey, we'd like to do a wellness retreat where we focus on these things. Can you help me out with this project? I have this place in Georgia my buddy's talking about. I'd like to have a high-end Airbnb focused on wellness, or they're trying to throw ideas out to me because they know they've seen me do the work.
Sure.
And now people reach out to you. So you don't need capital to
Yeah.
start a business a lot of times. You kind of have to wait and find the right people who do have the capital.
Yep.
And you have to put in the hard work every single day.
Yep.
So not only did I build out the entire space,
Yep.
but I partnered with a lab company so I can do in-house blood work.
So you weren't getting paid at all throughout this
No.
process.
So first,
that is sweat equity, guys. So if you could find a good financial backer,
Yep.
and you're like, hey, I'm going to work my nuts off 50, 60, 70 hours a week, sometimes over that to start a company, you're not getting paid anything. You usually have another job, which, what were you doing, nursing?
So I'm a weekender at the hospital. So
Okay.
I work Saturdays and Sundays. I got this job Saturdays, Sundays, you work a 12-hour shift on Saturday, a 12-hour shift on Sunday, but you get paid for full time with
Sure.
full time benefits,
Okay.
which gives you Monday through Friday off. So Monday through Friday, I was working construction inside of this space to get it done by January 1.
Yep.
We had a massage table in there. I was sleeping on the massage table, taking little naps, trying to get through this thing.
I'm getting chills, man, because people don't understand that to start a business, one, you got to have a job to back it, right? To survive. You found that lucky, you got that financial backer, and you've seen an opportunity where all these people that see me run this business or my F1 contracting in my barn, they think it just fucking was handed to us.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, how did you do it? And I don't believe that people built this. And, there's got to be something that you're not telling. No, like this is sleepless nights,
Mhm.
being broke as shit sometimes.
Yep.
You know,
Covered in drywall dust.
yeah,
You
dude.
know, you
Like
know,
it's what it takes, man.
borrowing equipment.
Fuck yeah.
Anything that I knew that I could better myself through this. So not only did I better myself because I learned a lot about myself by building this place,
Hmm.
but I also I put in the hard work, and that's what my partner saw. It's like this dude, he's told me before, he's like, I've never seen somebody work as hard as you,
Dude, that's awesome to
you
hear,
know.
dude.
And he said, now he trusts me. So
Yep.
this backer with all this money, he's like, okay, this dude just put in 3 months. I sent him pictures. He's not in state. He sees the work that I've done.
Didn't get a dime of pay.
Didn't get a dime of pay.
Yep.
During that first initial 3-4 months,
Yeah.
no pay, just working, and knowing that all my hard work is going to pay off. And that's what people don't realize is they're like, nobody sees the hard work. They just see the success and they're like, oh, he's an overnight success.
I know.
No, it's not that way.
I
It's
know.
all these sleepless nights, it's a million cups of coffee.
Dude,
It just you
couple
keep
pre-workouts in
pushing,
between.
pushing.
You ever done pre-workout when you're like,
I haven't. No,
no?
no, I don't typically do pre-workout.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
yeah.
I'm very sensitive to it.
Okay.
But I'm a big coffee guy.
Yeah, like
So
when
it's
I come home, all right, so we have 8 acres here and we got to make the property look good for the wedding barn.
right.
So if I work a full day in the construction field, I got to come home and cut the grass.
Mhm.
I drink a pre-workout literally because I'm also treating it as a workout if I can't do it that day.
Sure.
I'm running around with a weed whacker, I got tons of brush to pick up. So it's like I
Yeah.
was just curious, like, what's that next step?
Right.
So
Yeah. So the pushing super hard is huge. Um, And then, so people don't realize too that you have to be the master at everything. If you're going to be a business owner, you better have it mastered. So, not only did first step,
yep.
phase one,
Mhm.
build out the do the build out.
Yeah.
Second step, what about all the operating systems? You have to have a HIPAA protected
Mm.
electronic medical record.
Yep.
You have to have pharmacies you partner with. You have to have a booking manager system so people can book online. You have to have a Google SEO manager. You have to have a production team. You have to have all of these things.
And you're wearing all those hats
Yeah.
when you first start.
Yeah. And
You have to.
I don't know anything about computer coding, but I coded everything in our booking manager. So when people go to our website, it links to our booking manager and you can book any number of services and it shows up on my
Just figure it the fuck out.
Yeah. You just work and work and work and work and work until you figure it out and then you have something.
Yes.
And then you could, I mean, not that I'm taking a break,
Yeah.
but I'm not lifting drywall over my head.
Sure.
I'm seeing patients now, which
Yep.
is what I wanted to do.
There's called phases. Like
Yeah.
you're in a different phase of your business.
Yeah.
And me and my guys at work talk about um there's phases of life too. Like I got a kid that works for me. He's mid-20s. I got a guy that works for me, my partner Chris, and he has 3 kids. And like the youngest guy that's 20 some years old, he's in a different phase of his life, right? And then Chris is at a different phase in his life because he's got 3 kids, and I'm on my first, so I'm in that middle where like life is like business, and at the end of the day, there's the building blocks, the foundation, and then now you're kind of at the stage where you wanted to be. You're not probably reaping the benefits yet that you would love to do,
Mm-mm.
but guys, like, no, there's always an end goal, but to get there,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much in between.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful that I can go instead of sweating and doing drywall dust and just like carrying 2x4s. The building across the street is actually getting redone from Vitality Lounge. And every day I look at those guys working on this building, and I'm so thankful that I can wear scrubs every day, be clean, work in an air conditioned, heated environment because I did the construction my whole life.
Yeah.
So now it's a different feeling. It's like I finally am able to run a clinic not just do all the construction and do all the building blocks. So that's what it took. And then during this whole time, I'm starting my journey as well into
Yeah.
healthcare and fitness, which I've always worked out, but now I'm so deep into this that there is no turning back. Like, this is my lifestyle.
All right. So tell us about, I guess, how essentially you got into the health and wellness in general. Since you just built the business now, what pushed you or led you to like, hey, I want to help others, but clearly you had something that was that moment like, I got to help myself too.
Sure. So yeah, I was overweight for sure, and I had been exercising, but the weight really wasn't coming off,
Sure.
and I didn't know why. And so I tried at my clinic. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my own blood work. I'm going to run my own panels. I'm going to have my doctor review them. That works at the clinic, and we kind of started myself on a program. So first initial thing was to get the weight off, right? I want to see if I can get some of this weight off. So I started on some semaglutide, which is Ozempic,
Okay.
or something like that. One of those brands.
Now, are you still on it or no?
So I'll tell you my whole stack.
Yeah,
once
yeah.
I kind of get through. Like,
Sure.
So got some weight off. Hormones still didn't kick back on, because a lot of people, when they lose
When you say
weight,
hormones didn't kick on, what are we,
so, like,
testosterone or everything?
So my DHEA was low, which is the precursor to your hormones.
Okay.
My testosterone was 260.
Oh.
Which is so low for.
Oh, it should be 600-700.
Yeah,
That's
600,
low
700.
still.
Yeah, so 260. So I couldn't get my hormones to kick back on.
Wow.
So I started on a regimen of testosterone cypionate.
Yep.
So initially it started on I'm on the semaglutide, losing weight, curbs your appetite, helps with insulin control, also has great benefits for addiction recovery as well as cognition.
Okay.
Which people don't realize.
Sure.
So
Just being sharp mentally.
be sharp mentally as well, because you're also not drowning yourself out in all these horrible foods.
Yep.
These sugary foods, all those things. That food noise quiets down. That's what we're trying to do.
Yep.
So what the GLP-1 did for me is it, pretty much suppresses your appetite,
Okay.
gets rid of your food cravings.
Yep.
And so I start losing weight, and
Okay.
I'm still training, you know what I mean? But I'm not fully back to where I am. So my hormones are completely off.
Okay.
I start myself on a regimen with my physician of testosterone cypionate.
Yep.
And I was doing it twice a week.
Okay.
Okay. As I've grown, I've kind of added to my stack. Okay. So what I do now, okay. So I got the weight off, but I still, and I did kind of like a clean bulk.
Okay.
But I still didn't feel the way I wanted to feel.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm on the semaglutide. I stopped that. I'm just on the hormones.
Yeah.
And then I start experimenting with other things that help me start to make me feel better. So we run these gigantic blood panels.
Yeah.
We also can do genetic testing to see what is best for you.
And it's not
as
like
an
a basic
individual.
blood panel that your doctor's running, guys.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. It's 150 tests pretty much. So we're running this gigantic blood panel to see what's wrong with you as an individual.
Which Western medicine,
They don't.
they don't focus on it.
And they don't do genetic testing. So we do a mouth swab.
Okay.
So say you want to do some genetic testing and see what is good for your body and what you're deficient in based on your genes. It's a mouth swab. We send it to your house. Comes in a package. Swab your mouth. Get your results back in 4 to 6 weeks, and I can tell you exactly what type of diet you should be on, what type of exercises you should be doing, what you're deficient in, and just a whole host of things that people just don't normally think of, because you're an individual. What works for one person is not going to work for another. There is no cookie cutter in this. There are some things that everybody should be doing, but there's some things to really optimize. That's what I talk about, is optimization.
Yeah.
You want to optimize your health, your longevity, your hormones. Everything needs to be optimized.
Okay.
So my stack now. So today I do tirzepatide,
Okay.
which is a GLP-1, GIP-1 agonist. Works on a little bit different pathway. Okay. And I microdose it.
But before we go into that, I guess, I just want to check, but I do want to, oh yeah, we're cooking. So just so I could clip that. Before we go into your stack, the stack that you're going to talk about, is it good for a guy in my 35 to your 40, right? That age where maybe they've had kids, they've gained a little weight, they want to get back on the horse, Is this a good stack that those guys that are dads that kind of lost themselves a little bit can gain themselves back?
100%.
Okay, so listen to this, guys. This is big. Entrepreneurs, dads, anybody that kind of fell off the horse, he's going to tell you a stack that essentially you can do. You can get it from his lounge, correct?
Yep.
So what's the address again?
2220 Superior Viaduct in Cleveland.
Vitality Lounge.
Vitality Lounge. Yep.
I'm putting this out there, guys, to go there, get this stack, get on it. It's going to bring your life back. It's going to change everything. So let's talk about it.
Sure. So what I do now is TRT style testosterone cypionate. So I don't want to bring my testosterone over 1,000.
Okay.
Okay, because you can bring it up to about 1,400. I like to keep mine right around 1,000 to 1,200. Go any higher than that on your stack, you have risk for cardiovascular incidents. You can have high blood pressure. You can have the anger issues. There's huge. So keeping your hormones optimized is not. We're not talking bodybuilder stacks here. We're talking optimizing your hormones. So anywhere I would say that I feel good at, I can only talk about myself, is anywhere from 800 to 1,000. Maybe 1,100.
Now, when you say TRT, I know what it means. What does that stand for?
Testosterone replacement therapy. So there's a couple different ways you can do it.
Yeah.
So mine, I do the injectable form. If you're still trying to have kids,
yes,
and you want to be a dad,
yeah,
enclomiphene is another type of medication. It's an oral pill that naturally increases your hormones. Okay, so this is luteinizing and follicle stimulating hormone. So it tells pretty much your testes to produce more of its own testosterone.
Yep.
So if you're looking
is
at
that Clomid?
Yeah, Clomid.
Yeah. So I've taken that for my post cycle.
Yeah.
When I come off.
And clomiphene, Clomid.
Because is that also an estrogen blocker?
So you're saying Clomid. So no.
It's different.
It's enclomiphene.
Oh,
so
it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
So different. So this will it works for some guys, doesn't work for all.
Sure.
It just depends on your genetics.
Okay.
So that is one option, is enclomiphene, and that's a daily pill.
Okay.
What I do is testosterone cypionate.
Yep.
So that's the first thing in my stack. What people don't realize is your body doesn't naturally release hormones. So if you are on testosterone and you take one gigantic shot every 1 week, every 2 weeks, you're going to have these huge, because testosterone only lasts in your body about 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, it's called afterlife, essentially.
You're going to have this huge spike in hormones, and then you're going to taper back off. So the protocol that I'm actually doing now is microdosing testosterone every single day. I know
you're
it's
doing every day?
A lot for people, but I take 10 units every single day.
Which is very low.
So low. On an insulin syringe, just the first couple digits, okay? And I do that every day to keep a hormone balance. That is not just for performance, that is for mental cognition, because you don't get those huge spikes and waves. Instead of this huge wavelength, people are like, oh, I take a milligram of testosterone once a week, and then it goes like this, and then it peaks off and it drops back
You're
off.
creating, essentially, like in the body world and building space, a lot of guys call it cruising.
Yeah.
And so from my experience, obviously, I'm going 20 weeks on, like I was telling you off screen. But guys, I've ran testosterone 20 weeks on and off, or mine's a Monday and then a Thursday, because I'm trying to prevent this, right? So I'm here, but what I'm doing is larger doses, shorter periods of time.
Sure.
And then you can't maintain that. It'll crush your organs, everything. So what he's saying is very sustainable for what? Essentially lifetime.
This is lifelong.
Yeah, lifelong.
So,
now, are your testes still producing or no?
No. So once you start putting androgynous testosterone in your body, you stop producing your own.
Because your body recognizes that.
Yeah, your body recognizes this as, okay, I don't need to produce any of my own natural testosterone, so because you're putting it in artificially. So these are TRT prescribed from a doctor. Okay. So I'm not talking about gym bro testosterone. This is actual third-party tested, FDA-approved pharmacies that we're getting this through. And it's very safe dosages. Okay, we're talking about very safe things to do for yourself, because I can't obviously at the lounge or my clinic say, okay, yes, go do this, and then people go get on androgynous testosterone from somebody that they don't know. Please don't do that. Please consult your physician first. So first part of my stack, got my hormones right.
Okay.
With taking testosterone, people don't realize your estrogen goes up. So my estrogen started to slightly go up, so I take an anastrozole twice a week.
Okay.
That's a pill.
Estrogen blocker, essentially.
Estrogen blocker. So I don't want your estrogen to go too high. You can start having side effects from that. So I like to keep my
gyno, you get emotional.
Yeah, all those things. I like to keep and it's good. Actually, estrogen, you need estrogen.
Sure.
It's cardiovascular protective. So I like to keep my estrogen just slightly high too, around the 50 mark.
Okay.
50. So you get your blood drawn. You know, you don't want to be tanked too high into the hundreds. I like to keep mine right around 50. That's where I feel the best. So these are serial blood panels that I'm doing on myself. So I'm always checking my blood. They're inexpensive tests. Come in and get a hormonal panel done and make sure your blood levels are where they need to be and where you feel the best. And you can really get dialed in.
Okay.
So the whole point of this is getting optimized and dialed in.
Yep.
Second thing I'm on, tirzepatide.
Okay.
Okay. GLP-1, GIP-1 agonist.
Okay.
Okay. This is for hunger cravings.
Okay.
This is for maintaining your insulin levels. This is for huge cognitive benefits because it quiets down food noise, quiets down addiction noise. Like,
Yeah.
say, like most people say, like their cigarettes taste terrible on them. Your craving for beer goes down. So when you're
Interesting.
trying to lose
Being on a
weight,
GLP-1.
yeah, GLP-1.
Okay.
So I microdose testosterone daily, and then
Okay.
I do tirzepatide
Yep.
twice a week, microdose for the cognitive and weight loss benefits. So
Yep.
just sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
And those are huge because it keeps me lean, okay, and it keeps my blood sugar under control.
Sure.
And you don't have these huge crashes and spikes.
Well, a lot of people, correct me if I'm wrong, but when your blood sugars are out of whack, that's also where you get lightheadedness. You get cravings.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing. I'll be honest. My worst thing is when I notice myself getting let go. It's a little later at night. I'm assuming it has to do with my circadian rhythm, and I have an urge for sugars.
Yep.
And so I try to combat that. Lately, personally, when I'm at Costco, I'll buy like little bags of beef jerky just because I need a little sweetness.
Sure.
So instead of me eating like a sweet, I try to at least do something that gets that sweetness I need, but it adds a little protein and it's like no carbs type of stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, man.
So it quiets down the food noise. 'Cause
Yeah.
I used to eat a ton of cookies. I was addicted to eating cookies.
And milk, bro.
I don't
Fucking
do
crush
that
it.
anymore.
Yeah.
So because I'm on this low dose tirzepatide.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something you can get at the clinic as well.
Are you
Okay?
the GLP-1? Let me. Sorry to cut you off. I'll check this.
Yeah.
Because if it's past this, we're good. Oh yeah, 30 minutes in. All right. So I have a really good friend, literally one of my best friends, and he's thought about getting on a GLP-1. I don't know. I don't think he's gotten on it yet. But we always hear these things about long-term bone density issues. What are the risks? I mean, he's like, 400 pounds. And I want him to be around for his kids. Is one, I'd love to send him to you, right?
Yeah.
Maybe me and him can come down together because I
Sure,
want to get my
check it
panels
out.
ran.
Yeah.
Can he run that long term?
Yeah, so a lot of people do. They microdose it. So initially, first thing is, if you're 400 pounds or you're severely overweight, that is going to kill you way faster than a GLP-1.
100%.
So you're going to have a stroke, you're going to have a heart attack, you're not going to be around, you're going to get a blood clot, you're just not moving well, your cardiovascular system is shot, your respiratory system is shot, your cognition, you're sleeping all the time, you're lethargic. So a GLP-1 is pretty much the closest thing we have to a magic pill nowadays.
Sure.
Okay? And so you have to be careful with them, just like anything. So a lot of people will get the weight off and then start to microdose like I do. Okay, just to keep those food cravings down, keep the weight off. But the biggest thing is with GLP-1s, some of the side effects, you can get nauseous, you can get constipated, you can feel just tired all the time. And we have to get the right GLP-1 for you and the right mixture. Okay, so when you start feeling, if you start feeling those things, there's things we can do to combat it, obviously. But initially, just get the weight off. Number one, get your weight off, get moving.
Which the GLP-1 would help.
The GLP-1 will help, but you also have to massively change your diet. Which
Sure.
is what I've done. If you get off the GLP-1 and you start eating like crap again, you're going to put all the weight back on.
Go right back.
So I tell people to get on the GLP-1s. It's going to massively improve your life, your mobility, everything. So if you have, like you talk about having little kids, you're not going to be able to run around and chase them around at 400 pounds.
Right.
So would you rather, and there's actually very little risks with the GLP-1s. So I'd say be on a GLP-1 rather than die of something else related to diabetes, cardiovascular disease, all those things. So
that's crazy to say too, because you really said something. You'll die from your weight before you die from a GLP-1. Let's say, hey, GLP-1, 30, 40 years, then we could start talking about a risk at that. But if you're not going to live past 30, 40 years because of the weight, let's do the GLP-1. Right.
I'm telling you, you won't live past that.
Yeah,
That's the problem is it'll increase your longevity.
Yeah, 100%.
So GLP-1s, as far as I'm concerned, is the closest thing you're going to get to a magic pill, but you have to massively, while you're doing the higher doses of GLP-1s, get the weight off. Make sure biggest thing, people talk about Ozempic face, Ozempic ass, all those things.
Yeah.
It's because you're not taking enough protein while you're on it. So
100%, man.
Stick with your protein.
Build muscle.
And what I do is I just I know this isn't the best, but I'm a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
I drink 2 protein shakes a day.
You
I
have
don't.
to.
I don't need to always get it in as a meal. I'm
Hmm.
just running around like a madman, but I'm getting my protein going
Hmm.
until I'm able to maintain muscle mass on a GLP-1.
Yeah.
Okay. Two things that we put into our GLP-1s, right? So it comes from a compounding pharmacy. B12 for energy. It
Interesting.
comes in the GLP-1 itself, as well as glycine for muscle wasting.
Hmm.
So it's already built into the GLP-1
Yeah.
that the ones that we sell. So people always think, oh, I'm going to lose all this muscle mass. No, I'm 192 pounds. I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my entire life, and I'm
Yeah.
on a GLP-1.
Okay.
If you follow the protocol that we set up for you, stick to protein, watch your fats and carbs, you're going to be fine.
All right, guys. So we're going to talk about, what is it, mental health?
Mental health, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, take us through that process and the way you can help us and your
Sure.
thoughts on it.
So first mental health journey that I went on is like, okay, my testosterone levels, my hormone levels were crap.
Okay.
Right. So what happens when that you have mood imbalances as well? This is men and women. So once I started, I thought I was just a depressed person. Okay. I was on SSRI, Zoloft, Wellbutrin. They tried me on Celexa, all these things. And I was a very bad nurse, and I got off of those, like, stopped them cold turkey. Okay, you're never supposed to do that, so don't take my lead on this. I stopped all of my medications that had me on for depression, anxiety, all those things. I stopped them abruptly. Well, guess what? With that became intrusive thoughts. I was having these things called brain zaps from Wellbutrin, where you actually feel like electrical pulses running through your body
Oh,
because
wow.
you're not supposed to stop them like that. You're supposed to taper them off. But I was so sick of being on these medications that traditional healthcare had put me on. And I'm not saying stop, do any of this that I'm doing. This is just the journey that I went on. And at that time, I had my hormonal panel checked, and I hopped on testosterone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
That has helped me so much mentally.
Okay.
It's more of a mental thing than it actually is a physical thing. Yes, you can take testosterone
Yeah.
and it'll help your mental health, but you have to also use that testosterone. Like, I'm in the gym, I'm dieting properly. If you
Yep.
just take testosterone, you are not going to see any different results
And I try to
in the
tell
gym.
so many people that, like, throughout the years, the sharpness I have when I'm on it, like, I could process information better. And actually, when I was building the wedding barn for a wedding, that whole 9 months before, I didn't run tests the whole time, but I wasn't working out because I was doing a full-time job during the day and then coming home to build the barn. And so that gave me that extra leg of energy, helped me process all the information, not get stressed out, handle the stress better.
Yep.
And so kept my wife happy, kept me happy. I was able to really, like, not skip a beat in my daily.
Right.
So guys, testosterone is so good for your mental health.
Yep.
And they don't realize it. It's not about being some juice head.
No, it's about keeping proper levels, checking your blood frequently, and doing it the proper way.
Sure.
Okay. So that helped me tremendously through my mental health journey. Something new we're going to be offering. So since the 1990s, they've been looking at ketamine as a way to help with anxiety and depression. So what is ketamine? Ketamine is a dissociative. They use it as an anesthetic prior and during surgery.
Okay.
So in the emergency department, what we use it for is, like, say you need to put a joint back into place. So say you have a dislocated shoulder, you have some, or you have like a fracture. I recently used it in the emergency department. We gave it to somebody at a very high dose. They had a severely broken leg, and we needed to straighten the leg back out. You give a high dose of ketamine
Is it
intravenously.
Okay.
So in the emergency department setting.
Sure.
So what we did under ketamine, which is an anesthetic, we reset the joint, reset everything, and then we put a rod through their leg and then had a weight going over top of the bed to keep their leg straight at all times.
Holy shit.
Okay, so that's what we use it for in the emergency department.
Yeah.
What it's found to do at lower doses is, because it's a dissociative, it helps with almost separating yourself from your brain. So you can, what we're going to be offering at Vitality Lounge is ketamine infusions.
Okay.
So people who don't want to be on SSRIs, what this does is it's infusions maybe once weekly to get started. And what this does is it works as a dissociative. So you give it, it's weight based. You give 0.5 to 1 milligram per kilogram of body weight.
Okay.
And you infuse it, and what it does is it tells your brain that it dissociates it enough to almost help with your neuroplasticity. So it's working on different synapses of the brain. So I recently listened to a podcast about this and how it works. So normal synapse firing is very slow and rhythmic. Okay, on ketamine, it actually speeds up. And so it's actually been shown to, ketamine in lower dosages have been shown to kind of almost revamp your brain wiring.
Okay.
Okay, and this is what I'm really interested in because it's been shown to actually help so much more than SSRIs in terms of anxiety, depression. So this is something we're going to be starting at Vitality Lounge.
Yeah.
It's going to be an intravenous infusion. You have to have a ride to the clinic and a ride home.
That's what
from
I was
the
going to
clinic.
ask.
Yeah.
So you guys got to have a ride to. Do you need a prescription for any of this, or do you guys have doctors on site?
Yeah. So we have doctors on site that will clear you for this.
You being one of them,
Yes.
of nursing.
So
yeah.
I will be there. The doctor will be there.
Yeah.
And we're going to be starting ketamine therapy for mental health.
Oh,
So
okay.
instead of being on long-term SSRIs, which have huge amounts of side effects,
Yeah.
it actually is a shortened treatment period. So you say you do it once a week or
How
once
long
every
is
2
the
weeks. It depends on the
session?
person. So
Okay.
it's an hour-long session.
Okay.
So it's a drip over an hour.
Yeah.
It's a very calming experience.
And it's being calculated. It seems like kind of like anesthesia in general by
yeah.
weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way it was originally tested in the early 1990s was through rat studies. Okay, so this
Typical.
is a very horrible test, and some people might be freaked out about this, but
Yeah.
it's the willingness to thrive and live is what they were testing.
Sure.
Okay, so what they would do is they'd have a beaker full of water, and they put a rat in there, and they would see how long it would swim before it just gave up and died or wanted to die. And of course, the scientists would remove it before it actually died, right? They
Sure.
dry it off, all those things. So what ketamine does is it actually increased that will. What you would think with a sedative is that it would decrease that will. You know what I mean? Because it's dissociating you. They were putting these rats or mice in water and it actually tread water for longer and thrive for life longer. So that's how they
No
initially
shit.
found out that this was actually going to work
Yeah.
for potentially in human trials.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people got turned off by this. Like, why is a dissociative
Yep.
working as an antidepressant? So they've actually done more and more studies on this, and it's been showing to help people with PTSD.
I was going to ask that.
It helps with anxiety, depression, and also chronic pain. We give infusion for chronic pain.
Okay.
So it's not a new medication. This is a very safe medication that we still give in the hospitals, and we're going to be giving this at Vitality Lounge to help with anxiety, depression. And the reason being is because this is not a long-term treatment plan. This is something to help with rewiring your brain.
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to start offering this. There are ketamine clinics in Cleveland. There's only 2 of them.
Okay.
So this is why I'm kind of jumping on board. And this is it's been proven to help with mental health.
I feel like you're getting on early.
Yeah.
Where, as a business owner, it's like it's better to get on early than late, right? And then, guys, so many people think PTSD is, you correlate that with like the military, which all those guys need it, and this is an avenue for them to get help, but also police. Dude, I know like EMS see a bunch of crazy shit. Those guys need it. Is Vitality Lounge considered a men's health clinic, or couldn't like?
Yeah, so we treat women with hormones as well.
See, I mean,
men, women, we treat everybody. So
Yeah.
it's not just for men.
Yeah.
We do the same thing for women. We run a little different panel on them for hormones
Sure.
and things like that. But in terms of like mental health, this is good for both men and women.
Yeah.
People of all different backgrounds. It doesn't matter, know. So because it dissociates your brain a little bit and focuses on rewiring your brain,
Okay.
it really does help with mental health in a lot of different avenues. It's got better results than your typical SSRIs.
Okay.
And this is not a forever treatment.
Yeah.
Typically with SSRIs, what happens, you're on Zoloft, and guess what? It stops working, you got to increase the dose.
That's
You're
it.
on it, and you got to increase the dose, or you got to add another medication onto this.
Yeah.
This is something that you do for a short period of time,
Yeah.
and then you could space out your treatments, maybe monthly, maybe once a year. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Where you're just
With the SSRIs too, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you start increasing this dosing. It's very hard to reset. It's like an addiction, right? It's very hard to reset and go back to a lower dose,
Right.
because you do have withdrawals. Your symptoms are, you just can't manage it,
right.
right?
Yeah, so different platform completely with ketamine.
Yeah.
It's still maybe a little controversial in some areas because ketamine can have addictive qualities.
Sure.
So that's why we do it in a controlled setting in a clinic. This
Yeah.
is not something you can get off the street. You're
Yeah.
coming in for an hour-long session with us,
Yeah.
and then you are going home after that. You're not sent home with any of the medications. So this is a very controlled, safe environment. You're monitored on a 3-lead heart monitor, blood pressure, and continuous pulse ox the entire time you're getting the treatment.
Yeah.
And we're right outside the room. when we start you off on such a low dose that ketamine is a very safe drug that, and then we'll ramp up your dosage as you go.
Okay.
Okay, so about an hour-long treatment, and I'm very excited to start offering this at Vitality. I think it's going to really help a lot of people
Yeah.
that are just kind of feel stuck in their lives, and there's more people than we know. And this kind of helps get over that hump and kind of put you on a path where you're almost like reliving or starting anew.
Okay.
It's not like just continuing on your life after these treatments. You're like feeling like a new person.
Sure.
And you want to try different things and you have a new inspiration for life.
That's awesome.
So there's plenty of podcasts out there. Do your own research.
Yeah.
I highly recommend. There's an hour-and-a-half long podcast by Dr. Andrew Huberman.
Yeah, Huberman.
Huberman Labs. He does an hour-and-a-half long podcast just on ketamine. Describes all the risks, the benefits, all those things. He goes into much more detail than I'll ever be able to go into at this point.
Sure.
But a great podcast that you can watch. That I watch the whole thing and listen to these things all the time. So it's a great way to kind of get over that hump of that mental barrier that you might be having. Just a different avenue for someone to try.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me check this real quick. And then I'm thinking what we'll do is, we're in 11 minutes. I guess you want to wrap up with maybe talking about just give a little shout out about your Drip Sesh podcast.
Sure.
And then we'll just kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. So I know you got a podcast.
Yep.
And it's called Drip Sesh.
Yep.
Guys, tune into that. What's a good way to
So you could find us at Vitality Lounge on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube and TikTok. We all have the same Vitality Lounge handle. You can find me on there. If you want to see the full episodes of Drip Session, where I'm hooked up to an IV, my guest is hooked up to an IV. You can follow me on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And then Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We cut up reels on there so you can see shorter clips of the full podcast.
So guys, I've seen this and it's really cool. Like Rick was saying, you're hooked up and you guys are just having a conversation now. I guess what's the main conversation you guys are talking about during the drip session?
So we're basically talking about health.
Okay.
Okay. So any avenue of health, I'm interested in what everybody's got to say. We have physicians on, we have personal trainers on, we have health coaches on, dietitians. So it's mostly focused on health.
Okay.
And I'm the one interviewing you. So if you have an interest in coming on and you have any background in health and wellness, you can always hit me up on my Facebook, Instagram. Maybe you could be the next guest on my podcast.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So we really want to focus on overall wellness and not so much on the medical field itself. Now, we do talk medicine, believe me. There's a lot of what we talk about in Western medicine that translates over into health and wellness, obviously. But what we're trying to do is something a little different, focus on the individual, really spend the time with the patients, and you get, really spend the time with the doctors as well, so that we have a better understanding of why things work the way they work.
Yeah.
So my last guest was a personal trainer who went on a huge wellness journey.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about personal training and how you can get into the gym and injuries and all the things that come along with coming in the gym.
Yeah.
First time, just getting up and going for a walk.
Sure.
So any of those things, any topics that have to do with health and wellness, I'm hugely interested in. So.
Okay. And then I want to ask everybody who's going to be on this podcast, essentially, one, I wanted to I know you signed an NDA, and we talked about that off camera a little bit. Can you just give us a brief, this is something really cool that he was able to do. Who'd you work with?
Yeah.
In terms of overseas, in terms of medical, what'd you do just really quickly?
Yeah, so overseas, I did 5 years in Saudi Arabia, and I was a personal nurse for the royal family. And I signed an NDA, so I can't talk about a lot what I did, but I had a lot of cool adventures where I was in a suit carrying around duffel bags that pretty much housed an intensive care unit. In the duffel bags, I was a non-seen, non-heard member of this crew, and my whole job was to be the emergency medical response team for higher ups overseas. So very cool way that my career kind of took me. And I spent 5 years doing it, and it was a life-changing experience. Been to pretty much every continent with this family, and had a great time.
So guys, to put that in perspective, guys like Donald Trump or the U.S. president, everybody thinks of their security team, but you don't realize the people in the shadows that are there in case something does happen. And it doesn't have to be an assassination attempt. It could be something that's going into cardiac arrest, right?
Yep.
Or just a car accident. But guys like Rick are out there that are there essentially for emergencies because these people are so important. And he's obviously been trained in that and all that good stuff. And then give us one thing. I know you work on motorcycles. That's like your hobby.
Yep.
Can you give us just a brief, like, hey, like, what do you do with motorcycles and kind of
Sure. Yeah.
talk about
So, quickly, how I got into motorcycles. I've always been into building things. I built a Mustang when I was 16. That was my first real experience with cars, motorcycles. My dad's best friend, his name was Frank. He built motorcycles, and specifically Harley Davidson shovelheads, 1970s Harleys. And he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and he always wanted to build motorcycles out of a garage. So what did I do? I built a garage next to my house specifically for building shovelhead Harley Davidson motorcycles.
No
And
shit.
before he passed away, we built motorcycles for
And you got a
3
Facebook
years.
page for that or something?
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah. Mobo Garage is
Yep.
my other big Facebook page. I build it, so it's Mobo stands for Monaco Bontempo. That's both of our last names.
Mobo Garage, guys.
Yeah,
So
Mobo
if you're
Garage,
interested
so-
in motorcycles, and-
Yep. So 70 shovel heads. They're a bear.
so that's
to
all
work-
carbureted.
Yeah, they're all carbureted. They're a bear to work on. They don't run that great, but they sound cool when they're done and they
Yeah.
look cool. I like vintage Harleys, so I've always been interested in building those as well.
So are you sending the motors out? Like, do you ever have to, or you do it all in house?
We do, unless I need something honed,
Yeah.
or I need to bore something out. I'm doing it all in house.
Dude, that's
So
awesome.
we build the engines directly in house. I've built a couple shovel heads now. I also built some Honda CB350s from the 70s. Typically 70s motorcycles, all carbureted.
Yeah.
So that's what my other passion is.
I had an R6 back in the day,
Yeah.
99, and I fucking hate dealing with carbs. So
yeah.
for you to deal with that, you got to
Yeah.
be a different monster, you know,
Yeah.
because it's got needles, jets, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And give me fuel injected and
Right. Yeah.
plug and play, dude.
Exactly. You got to get them tuned. It's very difficult to get them tuned.
Yes, man. Always
So,
had issues. So, Vitality Lounge, guys. Rick Monaco, check him out. I'll tag everything. I want this guy to succeed with that business. If you are in the Cleveland area, go there for Men's Health. I'm going to be stopping by. I'll document some of that. And thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Really
thanks,
appreciate
man.
it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Sweet. That was good.
Yeah, that was good, dude.